We'll call the meeting to order. Today's call to order for the East Long Meadow Housing Authority's March 11th board meeting. First order is the minutes of February 2020.
I make a motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Oh, I'll second.
Any further discussion?
I was not here. I'm sorry.
You're right. James?
I was also not
I
here.
feel like it was so long.
He wasn't here either.
Oh boy. Okay. That's right. Both of you were not here. So Marilyn's done it.
So you'll have to do it on a necessity.
Right. So I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So abstentions would be James and Danielle. All right. Next on the agenda is the change order for Quarry Hill decks.
Change orders real simple. Because we went out to bid in the fall, they were having, they had to have a completion date, I think by April. So all the change order is a time extension due to winter conditions, which it's been pretty mild, but.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to be starting at the end of the month, but they're gonna move their completion date to May 4th.
It's only 1 month.
Only Quarry Hill. Just Quarry Hill.
Only
That's the
Quarry
one we're
Hill,
doing?
yes.
Okay.
Do we need a
Yep,
motion
do
to
I-
accept that? I
We
make a
need-
motion to accept the change.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes got it. I'm sure the residents will be very happy.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be a good thing done.
Next on the agenda is board member training.
Yep, so they need some more information.
Oh, Saturday.
Yeah, they originally sent it to me with a mistake, the date, and then
I
what
know
they were
James.
supposed to
I know
have.
James has started it. Did you complete all 5 sessions? Do you know?
I doubt all 5. I don't know which ones though.
Yeah, I think I have it.
They all seem so.
So one of the things, so I can just enlighten both you and Marilyn, is, you know, years ago one of the mandates from DHCD was board member trainings and everything else, and that's why I think last year DHCD had the online training for certifications for board members. Mass Narrow also puts on a five different topic trainings, which you have in front of you. It's presented by, you know, Jeff Driscoll and the accountant Teresa Ewald has done some training. So there's a 5-course, and I know that's why I asked James. I know James has started. I've completed it, and I also assisted Jeff Driscoll doing some of the sessions on that. So that what Mass Narrow tried to do is try to get all the different regions in Massachusetts, and you know, and try to do it on a Saturday per se. So you know, there are a lot of people. I know there's a lot of
Not in the winter, right? In the summer.
I know,
I
right?
know. You know, a lot of times, you know, they try to do it during a weekday, but of course, when you have individuals that are working, it's tough, you know, because you're taking your personal time off to do these trainings. That's why they try to do it on a Saturday morning, and it's, you know, for a couple of hours. So they try to start at 9 and finish by noontime, I believe it is. So, you know, it's just to give trainings to commissioners, let them know what their roles and responsibilities are, and how you prepare because of what happened in years past. Jeff Driscoll, he's also a executive director out in Medford. Well, you know, he's had some other housing authorities. He does trainings for FADA and Narrow, and you know, like I said, I've been on some trainings with him in regards to board training. So, you know, if there is something that that is interested, you know, I would suggest that members go and, you know, and take all 5 courses. This will just benefit us, one, you know, for when DHCD comes in and sees that the board has trainings, but, you know, I know everyone's schedule is busy.
Yeah, my schedule's actually busier during the weekend than.
Same.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
reviews.
Yeah.
So,
What happened in years past?
there was a lot of corruptions from executive directors, and board members never knew what their roles were, so a lot of boards were just rubber stampers, per
Okay.
se.
Mhm.
You know, they would just take the course of action, whatever the executive director would say,
Mhm.
board would sign off on everything, and not really, you know, see what's the day-to-day operations. You know, so I feel, you know, as I know with my role, knowing rules and regulations, and, you know, and then we also have Gary DePace, our the auditor, so, you know, he works for us and
Right.
sees if there's anything wrong, and will report to us. That's what has happened in the past, and that's why, you know, the state, Jesus, that happened in 2000. I was still
A
working
long
in
time
I
ago.
was still working in Springfield, so it probably happened in 2013, 2014, when there was a big hoopla in regards to this, and that's when they started saying members should have this training. There's only one state, if you want to be a commissioner, there's one state only that you have to be certified before you can become, and that's the state of New Jersey. In which that's Jeff Driscoll does that training for Rutgers University. So to be a commissioner in New Jersey, you have to go through the training, be certified before you can get onto the boards in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
So
What is this particular, I know it's gotta be far away, Quaker Road, Seacrest Hotel, never heard of it, is it the Cape or something?
Seacrest, that's down the Cape, yes.
Okay, so that's probably out. And there's 5 different courses, and these are the only 2
In Holyoke.
different ones in Holyoke, okay. And they just alternate them like on a
I don't know, I
annual
haven't seen,
basis or
I
something?
haven't seen them in Holyoke in a while, so my thought was they should,
Get there,
they should rotate them around, but
okay.
Yeah, it's just
You just gotta call this Jennifer Polito to register, is that what this is here for?
no, I do that.
Okay.
you just let,
Yeah, 'cause there's a fee, so
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
okay.
you let
register it, I
Lynn
would
know,
pay for it.
and she'll register you for the class.
Okay.
All right. Last but not least, Brownstone contract. I don't know if everyone had a chance to, I know, so, my course of action that when reviewing the Brownstone Gardens, contract, from Mr. Carr, there was, one major component that I will offer to the board that I would recommend that Lynn not sign this contract that is set forth to us. And the reason for that is, on section 2, section 2 of the contract, under project-based components, subpart number 3,
Oh, wait a minute. That's an old one.
it lists that the contract will be effective June 1 of 2017. To me, since we are in 2020, that should be reading June 1st of 2020, in regards to that contract, because I'm not, to me, I don't want to authorize our executive director to sign a contract that goes back 3 years ago. I'd rather have a contract that goes forth. So I would ask the board, you know, to accept that once Lynn gets a new contract that states effective June 1 of 2020, that we can authorize her to sign a new contract for that 15 years, going from 2020 to, if they change it to 2035, or if they wanna leave it at
Right.
2032, the contract says no more than, 15 years, so, I would recommend to the board to authorize a revised subpart 3 with those dates. Looking at everything else in my days, understanding the MRVP, contract, everything else looked fine to me. I know, if I'm not mistaken, Lynn, you can correct me if I'm wrong, there was just a new subpart number 12 for rent adjustments.
Yeah, that whole section was new.
So those were just the two things that I noticed in this contract, that I noticed.
And that section looked fine, the rent adjustment section? That's the new section?
Yes.
Are you the owner or who's the owner? Who are they?
The tenant? Or the
Brownstone's the
Is the owner, okay.
And I'm the one that they say, usually it's LHA, but they wrote down here AA. I'm not too sure what AA means, but
Yep.
that's
Yep.
me, or us.
And you're okay with that?
If there's no other further discussions, I'll just entertain a motion to allow the executive director sign the contract, in regards to Brownstones with the change to number 2B, subpart number 3, to read June 1 of 2020 and having an ending date no later than May 31st of 2035.
Were these the same guidelines you were following since 2017?
Even before that.
Yeah, okay.
I can make a motion. I didn't see anything else when I read it.
Okay, do I hear a second?
What is the operating cost adjustment factors? What does this project-based component only mean? I'm not sure what, I don't understand what that means.
Where are you at?
The rent adjustments, I just don't understand what that means. Project-based component only, the maximum level increase will be based on,
Where are you?
just,
Oh, E?
yes.
Okay. Okay, every year, or it's usually every year, sometimes every 2 years, they come up with, fair market rents.
Right.
And then they wanna make sure, like wherever the fair market rent was originally to the new fair market rent, it's like they
Okay.
it can't be, way above that or exceed that amount. It's gotta
Okay.
be in that, whatever the Department of Housing says is the fair market, has to be the fair market.
Alright, so it's an already established
Yeah,
rate.
it could be lower, but it never can be higher.
And how many units do we have over there? They haven't taken any of our units away, have they?
25.
We still have
Yeah.
our 25? Is there ever a possibility or a time when they could lessen the amount of units that we have over there?
Yeah,
Well, they-
funding.
I mean, after.
Yeah, they tried doing that
Could
a
be
couple
funding.
years back. Yeah, they tried doing
I
it a
thought
couple
so,
years
and whatever
back.
came of that?
Well, the Department of Housing, they were getting rid of our units through attrition. And then the
Mhm.
Department of Housing, because they wanted a lot more rent money over
Right.
there. And so the Department of Housing decided to give them higher the base rate,
Oh, okay.
so they ended up getting
What they were looking for.
what they were
plus
looking
two or
for, so
something.
then they kept our 25
Good,
when we had to work our way back up again.
Now, can they do that out after this contract? Can it be done during this contract, or does it depends upon our funding on an annual basis?
Well, they could take, because even though there's a contract for 25 units,
Right.
during the course of that, 15 years, depending on their budgets, they could, like how Lynn says, to attrition, we could end up losing vouchers there. So, we're held with the project-based vouchers that the state gives us. So the vouchers do belong to the state of Massachusetts. Almost like Connecticut, but they belong to the state of Mass. So it's all based on funding, and you hardly will ever see that the money will be taken away and everything else. But there are times when you do have money crunches, and
Like
so
now.
yeah, like now.
All right.
So they're always trying to have a do a diet to the budget and everything else. But you have legislators that understand the role of what public housing. I think nowadays they got more of a role and understanding of what we do, who the individuals that we serve and everything else.
And the lack of.
Right. So everyone's always fighting for the pots of money, but in the past, looking at newspaper articles and seeing what the governor has signed, he's been for public housing and everything
Right.
else. So it's it's been a win-win situation. But there's always that one day you get that phone call, but then it's when you start doing the advocacy piece and and making a point, getting in touch with local legislators. Hey, we need you to vote for this way if you can. This is the reason why. Otherwise, if we have these cuts, this is what you're going to be affecting and everything else. So.
So how would you lose a unit due to attrition, lack of funding?
No, attrition is if somebody moves out, you lose that voucher. The voucher will go back to the state, which
Okay.
they'll never replenish that.
Got it.
Or they can say, hey, notify the housing authority saying, based on funding, you may lose. I don't want to make a number up, but you may lose 5 people, and then it's a hard decision saying which 5 do it. Now it's going to be a method of saying, okay, will it be a lottery? Is it first come first serve? Who's the last ones that move in there? Are we going to take those people off? You could look at their income, what their income is, and if they're paying majority of the rent, you may take those. So I was forced at one time looking at that way. It's not a great. It's not a. It's not easy, but I can't see it happening. But
Is a 15-year lease unusual?
no. We're project-based vouchers. Well, this is a state program, so 15 years. Like the federal is 20. You can go up to 20 years with an additional 20 years. So you could have a project-based up to 40 years, but it's also same thing as long as there's funding. So when you have the contracts, that's why it's always going to state in there. It's based on funding availability. Yeah, a lot to know about these. So I do have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any other further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes got it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is there anything else?
Oh, we're good.
All right. Well, thank you for all being here. It's probably one of the quickest meetings.
I know.
And it's 4:50 p.m. See you next month. Thank you.